Hey y'all, I am showing two new products tonight, well old products actually that have been restyled, and that is our deep covered baker and our mini deep covered baker. So I want you to get to see these side by side. I also have never shown these, I don't think, but we have cookware protectors and they open up or you can keep them folded, and I have several sets and I like to put them between my pans if I need them. But I don't know if you know, I've had knee replacement, so these are usually if I have to get on my knees in the kitchen, they're my little knee pads too. So I thought I would show you them while I have them. But the mini deep covered baker, it used to be burgundy, then they changed it to gray, and now it's this beautiful cream color. And normally when I'm storing mine, I'll put the lid inside of each of these like this and just stack them on top of each other. I know that's loud, y'all, I'm sorry. I stack them on top of each other when I'm storing them in my cabinet. Now the mini deep covered baker is a 6.5 cup. So this is perfect for 2 or 3 people. It's microwave safe, freezer safe, oven safe. I love using this for lots of microwave meals, and it cooks a delicious loaf of bread. It's about, I wrote it down somewhere, it's 10.5 inches long, 6.5 inches wide, and 6.5 inches tall. So that's the mini. Now the one I'm using tonight for a new recipe is the deep covered baker. And this big boy is a 12.5 cup capacity. And it's got the stone inside, so you know it seasons and cooks wonderful, but it's got this pretty glazed coating on it. So this one is 12 3/4 long, 8 3/4 wide, and 7 inches tall. So this is the one I'm using tonight. I won't be using the lid, so let me move this out of the way. This is the first time I've made this recipe, and I'm OCD and I've got stuff everywhere, so y'all, it's tearing my nerves up. But I am using a recipe from our new Season's Best cookbook. Every new catalog season, they come out with a cookbook that has recipes in them to go along with those new products. So now we're going to the fall and winter season in September. So I am making a pierogi casserole. So I'm super excited, but I've got this here to help me because I've never made it before. And of course, I don't follow instructions the best in the world, so I'm making it a little bit different, but I'll share the recipe in its natural form, not my modifications. So I got that's the only brand I could find at Walmart, pierogis with 4 cheese. And instead of 2 pounds of frozen pierogis that it calls for, I'm only gonna do 1 pound just because I don't want all the extra carbs in mine. I'm doubling the meat, the protein, and cutting the carbs in half. That's just for me. So in goes that 1 pound box of pierogis, frozen. Now it also calls for a 6-ounce box of frozen spinach. I don't like using frozen spinach because it has so much water in it when it starts cooking, and it normally makes something like this with a sauce not be as thick of a sauce as I want it to be. So I just took my fresh spinach and chopped it up with my chef knife. I've got it laying here somewhere. So I just guessed at what that amount would be, and I'm going to pop that in. It shouldn't let me find my knife. Okay, here it is. I have my chef's knife. So I love using the flexible cutting mat, so I could cut that right up on there and then funnel all of that in. So now I'm going to put this in the microwave. I said I wouldn't need the lid, but y'all let me see if we need the lid for this to be covered. All right, put the pierogis and spinach in the deep covered baker, microwave covered. See, I will gotta follow these directions. So let me get the cover back, put it in the microwave, and I'll show you what I'm gonna do next. I won't keep you on. This is gonna cook for 8 minutes. I don't think it's gonna take that long because I don't have but 1 pound of pierogis. So I'll pause the video and come back on once I get that started. But in fact, I'll just go ahead and sit this aside. Okay, the next step to this recipe says to combine some cream cheese and some chicken broth. So I've had my cream cheese out for a while and it's kind of soft, and I don't typically buy, I usually have my own chicken broth, but I freeze it in 2-cup servings, and I need to start freezing some in less than 2 cups because this calls for 1 cup. So I always have this Knorr's chicken bouillon on hand. So what I do, and it actually saves you money this way too, is I take 1 cup of water, because we need 1 cup of broth, and you just mix a teaspoon of that seasoning. And I've got our little mini whipper, and I've got it all whipped up. So I'm going to add this into my sauce. So this sounds like it's going to be very delicious. And I can't wait to cook it, and let's look at it together. We're going to find out how regular spinach does instead of frozen spinach. All right, so it tells me to mix this up and to heat it if I need to, but I'll work on that off camera. And I have shredded some cheese. So I've got 1/2 of the cheese. It was for 1 cup of cheese for the whole recipe. 1/2 cup is going to go in my sauce. So while my pierogies are cooking, I'll be mixing my sauce and then adding in the cheese, and then I'll come back on and show you the next step. So y'all stay tuned. Okay, y'all, that baker is fixing to cut off, and I only did it for 6 minutes. Halfway through, I paused the microwave and stirred it a little bit, and it already was cooking pretty quick. It still felt a little bit frozen, but we got to finish this off in the oven. I did not have to heat this up. Obviously, my microwave's been busy. So the soft cream cheese and the chicken broth, y'all, it smells amazing. And I was reading at the bottom of the recipe, there's an option to garnish it with fresh chopped green onions, and I'm not a raw onion person, so I typically don't garnish with them. But it said for a boost of flavor with red, green, and yellow onion, to add a couple teaspoons of this 3 onion to your sauce. So you know I jumped all over that because that's my favorite seasoning. So this is almost too easy. All we have to do now, take this out, put our sausage in, our sauce in, and our cheese in, and it's ready. So I'm going to go ahead, before I take that hot pan out, I just used that same little mini whipper I made my cream cheese with to stir that, made my chicken broth with. I used that just to whip up my cream cheese and broth together. So now I'm just going to take that cheese and stir it in. I don't want to get it tangled in. Y'all look at that thick sauce. It smells heavenly. So I think without even cooking this yet, this is going to be a recipe that I will love. All right, so now let me get out this hot dish and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, the lid on the mini covered baker as well as the deep covered baker serves as a self-roasting. So if you want to put a chicken, you can put a whole chicken in here. Now, no, I don't need this. I'm going to move this out of the way so I don't burn myself or break it. Okay, you can put a whole chicken in here and microwave it in just 30 minutes with some seasoning. Y'all look at that. So I think my fresh spinach did just fine. I'm just going to stir it around a little bit just because it says to. And in the South, we just think we've got to stir everything. Maybe I shouldn't disturb it, but I can't imagine 2 pounds of this in here. So I'm glad that I decided to just go with 1 pound. All right, so now I'll show you how I cut my sausage up, but because I'm doubling my sausage, this is 1 pack of turkey smoked sausage. So if I had 2 pounds of this, I would only be putting half of this in now. But since I'm doubling my protein, I'm going to go ahead and put all of that in, and I've got more sausage for the top. So I'm going to spread that out. Or did it tell me to stir? I'm sorry, y'all, I've not made this before. Add half of the sausage to the batter. I'm adding all of it. And the cream cheese mixture, and then stir it, okay? Got to follow those directions. So, I think y'all can see what's in here. Oh, that's hot. So in we go. This is the 3-cup silicone prep bowl. You see me use these all the time as well because they're lightweight. For old folks like me, that's wonderful. But I do love them because they are lightweight, they're flexible, and I just love them. can squeeze and pour into the tiniest little places with those. All right, so now I'm going to stir this up. Oh my goodness, y'all. I think I could eat it raw. It's looking so good. I may not need to double my protein, but I'm going to put a little bit more on top as it says to do. So I got that mixed. It's warm, but I think I can handle it. Now look at that. Okay, so let me set this aside for just 1 minute and I'll show you the next step. It says to toss with the remaining sausage and cheese and bake it for just 25 minutes. How simple is that? Of course, I know I have drug it on with my drama and showing you step by step, but I want you to see how easy it is to do. Okay, and I took a video of me doing this first sausage and I'll put it at the end of this so you can see it. But I was saying in that video, I love the flexible cutting mats because they have a ruler. So I know that this is about 4 inches wide. So I'm able to lay my sausage, and the ones I did, I'll take one out, they're in the whole ring. I did not cut them in half like I did these. So that's what I wanted to show you. Let me cut these in half. So I took these sausage pieces and just sliced them in half. So I would have a little half moon shaped. And with the quick slicer, you just pop that baby right on there. And then I have got all of those perfect little sizes. So I'm going to put these on the top of my casserole. Gosh, this is gonna be so good. I wish you were all here to taste. And again, I might not put it all. I might save some of this for a stir fry because that's a lot of meat. Oh, I might as well go ahead, right? I done got it all cut up. So I'm gonna do it. That way I won't have to do a stir fry later. All right, move this out of my way. Tilt this down so y'all can see it a little bit better before it goes in the oven. The deep covered baker and the mini deep covered baker are both freezer safe, refrigerator safe, obviously, oven and microwave safe. I've got my oven preheated, or it's almost there. I forgot to cut it on earlier, at 400 degrees. So it goes in the oven uncovered. And it did say use cheddar cheese, which surprised me. I thought maybe a pepper jack or a mozzarella cheese would be good. So I've got that cheese, half a cup of cheese in the sauce mixture and a half a cup of cheese on top. Yum, yum. Let's see if I can pick this up. Y'all see that? All right, so in the oven, this baby is gonna go. I'm excited. I can't wait to share more of these recipes and cook some more of them for you. But stay tuned. When it's done, I'll come back on and show you what it looks like. Okay, I just took this out of the oven and it is bubbling and hot. So I'm gonna let it sit and cool some. I feel like this sauce will thicken even more as it sits. It sure looks amazing and it smells so good. So I'll be back on when it cools and we'll get some on a plate and see what it looks like. Okay, y'all, I think it's kind of cooled enough that I can try to get some out. And I'm gonna tilt this down so you can see. It sure smells amazing. Oh, I don't even know where to begin to dig in. I just wanna get a fork and dig into the whole thing. So this is our scoop and serve spatula. It's got a flat bottom, so we can hopefully scoop some out and see what this looks like. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's hot. Yum, yum, yum. Get another pierogi up here. That's a lot of meat. Let me get some more meat up here so you can see. Get that out of the way. There we go. It's still steaming. With the stoneware, even though it's out of the oven, it's going to continue to stay hot a lot longer than it would in a typical pan. Let me get a fork and see how that pierogi is. definitely too hot for me to eat. Oh yeah. So it's got cheese inside of it as well. I think you can see inside there. So this is gonna be yummy, delicious. You could leave the spinach out, I guess, if you wanted to. I love garden peas, but a lot of people don't, so I bet they would be good in that. So I can't wait to try this in many different variations. But I do believe it's a winner, y'all. And I will share the recipe in the comments. Again, how the recipe is written by Pampered Chef. Not my variations, but I do think 1 pound of pierogies in here was plenty. But it's gonna be delicious. I'm sorry the video was so long, but it was a new recipe and I wanted you to see every step of the way. So thank you so much for watching, and look for the recipe in comments. Y'all have a great night. Bye-bye. One thing I love about the flexible cutting mats is they all have rulers at the bottom. So I'm gonna use the quick slicer tonight to cut my sausage up. So I know that I need them. This is about 4 inches wide. So I just stretched my sausage out and cut them in 4-inch sizes. And then I'm just gonna lay these 2 little pieces that were left on the end up here and in a rocking motion. Look at that. I'll have all of my sausage sliced perfectly, all in consistent sizes at once.